Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Live with Sequoyah Fund. I'm your host, Russ Siegel, Executive Director of the Sequoyah Fund. With me today is Laura Lee Garnes of WNC Social Media Buzz. Social Media Buzz is located in Waynesville. And, well, who better to tell you what they do than Laura Lee herself? Laura Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, you do so many things that I would imagine a lot of your customers don't even understand. So tell us a little bit about your business, about you, what you do, and who you do it for.
Well, I am a digital marketing specialist, and one of the things I do is I work with the small business community, and I work with a lot of service-based businesses and some nonprofit. But what I have found is that the service-based businesses here in Western North Carolina have a great need to be on the front page of Google, where everyone wants to be. And they need a strong social media presence and a strong digital marketing strategy. So that's what I do is I sit down with clients and we work through a customer persona. We look at many different things like target marketing, market segmentation, and audience-based marketing. And those are terms, Russ, that people struggle with. They do come in here very clueless sometimes with the terminology online. So we try to make that easier for people. And we bring them in here and offer some one-on-one training. And we try to help them figure out where they need to be with their marketing strategy.
So help me out here. I mean, you kind of got me, and I'm a pretty knowledgeable guy, but and I know what a customer persona is. We're going to let you talk about that for a second, but you know, I see a lot of small businesses that say, "Well, I'm just gonna do some Facebook stuff. I'm not really going to pay any money for advertising. I'm just going to put up some Facebook posts. I'm going to do the whole social media thing because it's free." Why doesn't that work?
Well, it doesn't work because you are actually throwing out your content, your product, your services to the masses. Not everyone is interested in certain products. Let's use shampoo, for example. If you were in the market for shopping for shampoo, you may not be looking for shampoo that treats oily hair. So it's not of value to you to take your shampoo product for oily hair and put it in front of people who have dry hair. So it just doesn't work to throw out your value before people who would not even consider you to begin with. So it's very important that we drill down into the customer's perception and needs and values for your product. So that's where the customer persona comes into play. We really dig down deep and try to help you figure out who your customers are.
So instead of the spray and pray method of marketing, it really is talking to that one person who is most likely to be your customer. And I love that. It seems like a lot of small businesses don't really understand who their customer is. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. I deal with this on a daily basis. We will look through a lot of data together. I teach them to begin tracking the type of customer that comes through their door. What better data than people who have already done business with you? So I open their eyes to the fact that, you really need to have a relationship with your customer when they come through that door for many reasons. The number one thing that you can do for your business right now is build relationships. But in those relationships, you can discover a lot of things. You can look at the geographics of your customer. You can look at the demographics. You can look at psychographics. And again, those are terms that people give me the deer in the headlight look when I start talking about those things. So that's why it's important that people are empowered with data and knowledge when it comes to marketing online. And that's what, kind of makes our business different is we really try to help you figure out who your customers are, because you can't just market to the masses.
Well, let's break that down a little bit, because I think you said something really important, that you're really A lot of people think about tech businesses as being a little bit different, maybe being a little standoffish. You really are in the relationship business. And so how are small businesses able to create those relationships with their customers through social media rather than just kind of throwing things out there? How do they build those relationships?
Well, I think it all starts with looking at your value and knowing what your value is, creating a 30-second elevator speech. If someone was to ask you, what do you do for a living? And, really narrowing that down and discovering who you are and not being afraid to say who you are. But really looking at the value of your products and your services. And when you are offering, let's say, a product such as paint, you're a hardware store and you want to sell paint, you really need to understand who uses that product, but you need to educate the customer on the product itself. So there's many different types of paint that can be used when painting your wall. And, whether you use latex paint or oil paints, you just don't know as a consumer. You just know you need to get your walls painted. So you can either come into the store as a do-it-yourself person, or maybe you've hired an expert professional painter to paint those walls for you. So as a hardware store, you would need to know what type of customer has walked through your door and what product they need. And then you need to educate them on that specific product. So then you begin to build a relationship with them. You become trustworthy, you're authoritative, and then they can rely on you for information, and you're very relevant to them, and they'll continue to come back. But more importantly, they become ambassadors for your product, and they go out and tell the world about you, and they share good news as well as, sharing bad news. So you just really want to become the expert in your industry and really get to know your clients and understand their needs.
It seems like every business I've talked to in the last 20 years or so has said some variation of we're different. We're not like any other business. We're unique. No other business does things the way we do. Well, we don't just have consumers as customers. We've got painting contractors, and so we really do have two different kinds of customers. How do you help businesses connect when they do have multiple target markets?
What we do is we build out a blueprint and we flow chart, and we really break down the verticals, and there may be several different type of verticals within a vertical. So we just really just flow chart the process out. We look at objectives for each of those markets. We identify any gaps, and then we begin building a blueprint for each one of those. And then, we implement it. And, the biggest key of all of this is evaluating those metrics and doing a measurement and making adjustments. It's not just a one-stop shop. You're not going to be able to market your company just in one particular manner. And it's important today in the digital marketing world to really build a brand for your business on different platforms. And we call that omni-market channeling. And omni-channel marketing. And so you really have to understand all the platforms too. So you can't just market your business the same way on every single platform. There is no one answer, Russ. You just really have to build out blueprints and work through it together and see what is working and what is not.
So it's kind of what I guess for those who follow Gary Vaynerchuk as his philosophy of be everywhere all the time, but you don't necessarily want to have the same message in every place on every platform. So we've got businesses that, and I know for a long time I thought, well, okay, if this is a social media management company, if they do social media, then I'm just paying somebody else to do my tweets. I'm just paying somebody else to do my Facebook posts and handle the comments, and I could just do that myself. So what is the advantage of having somebody else do that. And there's a trick question in here, because you and I talked about something the other day that I want to come back to about saving money. But what is the advantage of having an outsider from my business to handle this for me?
Well, I'm of the belief that social media management starts in your own back door. I think that your employees, your staff, everyone has to be on board in building the brand, and your business persona. It's very important that everyone understands the objectives and goals of the business and where you want to be 5-10 years down the road. So to answer your question, there are some benefits to working with a company like my company, and helping you build out a blueprint, 30-day calendars, helping you understand what to post, who to post to, where to post to, how to post, what tools to use, and how to do that in the most cost-effective way. So you could come to a business like mine and get some consultation to get you going in the right direction. But it doesn't mean that you have to hire someone like me to post daily for you, just random post. And most of the time people post just to be posting. That's something you don't want to do. But, you don't need a company to help you post daily unless, let's say, you're an asphalt paving company. You just don't want to work on computers. You have no desire to learn them, and you definitely don't want to be on Facebook or Instagram because you don't have time. Then obviously you need a company like mine to help you get those posts out there, because in the end you should still be there, right? We need to do our marketing. We need to do it well. So what I am transitioning into doing and offering is helping small businesses take some ownership in their social media management, and allowing some of their employees to be empowered to become a part of the team and be a part of building the brand for the company. So employees can come in and get training on, social media management, what to post, when to post, how to post, who to post to, things that you should never post, but really just helping them feel like they're a part of the team. And I've seen some great success with that. What's happening is small businesses are able to pass that task along to their team, and I'm able to help them work on some more advanced marketing techniques, such as building a blueprint out for all their verticals and really giving them a strong marketing strategy that, will build their business and, bottom line, just grow their business.
So I can do my own tweets, I can do my own posts, but it's part of a bigger plan. It's that there is a plan in place, and that we actually have a strategy for posting. I especially love the businesses that say, "Well, I'm gonna be on Facebook," and the only thing you ever see from them on Facebook is their hours of operation, maybe a daily or weekly special, or every other day in the winter, we're going to be closed because of snow or something like that. That just really turns me on as a customer. I love being able to see that. But you do more than just social media.
Correct.
So I got an email this morning that I hadn't seen this word in a long time. I haven't given it much thought, and that was Google AdSense. Talk to us about, and I think this is something that a lot of small businesses get confused about. One is kind of easy, but maybe not as effective. One is a little more expensive, but much more effective. Talk to us about the difference between Google AdSense and Google AdWords.
Okay, so Google AdWords is a pay-per-click program that you get involved in, where you create campaigns based on your objectives, whether it's selling a product, having them book appointments, maybe just getting some intake forms from people for interest that they have in your products, services, whatever. You basically build out these campaigns based on your verticals. And so you will pay per click on those campaigns. There's call only campaigns that you can do. So you may be paying if someone calls you. There's also many different type of text and display ads that can be run on Google. So if you were to go to your google.com and look at a landing page for, let's say, local attorneys in Asheville, you would see quite a few ads. You may even see some call only ads, some text ads, display ads. There's many different types of Google ads. When you click on those ads, that owner of that account is paying for that click charge. And it could be anywhere from 5 cents to, I've seen it up to $75 a click. So now that I've told you that, just
wow,
people need to really be aware about clicking on those ads, especially if it's a small business. It's, you don't want to just be randomly clicking on people's ads if you have no interest. Just not a very nice thing to do. So the difference is, so now that these campaigns are built, and you know that some of them are doing really well, you can get into a remarketing program with the Google ads. So let's say someone comes to your website and they're just really not sure about the product, or they have more questions, they've bookmarked your page, and they're going to come back to you later. Okay, so then they forget, right? We all do that. We're like, oh, I'll look at this later, and we never go back. So what Google has is a remarketing program where you can actually do it from within your own account that you own, and you can become part of the remarketing, or you can have your website remarketed as well on other platforms. So with the Google AdSense, what that does is allow you to participate in remarketing. So let's say you are looking at some Nike tennis shoes, and a week goes by, you haven't made a purchase, but those ads start randomly showing up all over the place. It could be on CNN, it could be on Fox News, you could be just in your Google browser looking at anything of your choice, and these Nike shoes and these ads start appearing. Okay, so that's part of the Google AdSense program. That is the remarketing side, but you can also, within your own website, participate in the Google AdSense, and you can put these short codes into the back of your program. And then those ads, random ads from other companies, would show up on your website. So, and you get a little kickback from it. So the Google AdSense program is really all about remarketing. The Google Ads is about driving traffic specifically to the needs that you address in the campaigns.
So you heard it here, folks. If you have been emailing your mother about a cake recipe and all of a sudden you get Pillsbury ads popping up in your Google feed, now you know why. Yes, they're spying on us, but it is really for the benefit of small businesses and large businesses as well that take advantage of this. And so, Laura Lee, there are 5 things that small businesses need to be doing right now to improve their online marketing, and we're going to get to that. I want to talk about that, but before we do, I want to take a short break and talk about a small business that we all know and love. Sarah loves running her own business, but she hates marketing. Managing social media, search engine optimization, and e-commerce web design, well, they had her questioning how she could ever be successful. That was before she found WNC Social Media Buzz. Social Media Buzz is an all-in-one solution for all of your digital marketing needs, even the ones you don't know you have. Even if you only have a firecracker budget, you can still get dynamite results. WNC Social Media Buzz took the headaches out of Sarah's marketing, so give them a buzz today. So we're going to put your URL down here at the bottom of the screen so folks can get in touch with you. But yeah, you and I were talking the other day about some things that small businesses need to be doing. And these are not earth-shattering or terribly expensive things that small businesses need to do. But if we're not in the digital world, we're not really being taken seriously, right? So talk to us about a reasonable cost internet marketing strategy and tracking ROI. How do I do that?
Okay, well, one of the first things that I recommend that people do when they are looking at their budget for marketing is to really grasp a true understanding of the different offerings that are out there before you just randomly go and sign up for a contract for 12 months with huge monthly payments and assuming that company is going to take care of everything for you. Marketing is a two-way street. When I help a business with marketing, we have to build that relationship, and that's everything we've talked about up till now. You have to really understand the different terminology, the different terms and things that are thrown at you before you can make a decision. So, if I told you, for example, this $12,000 car was worth $75,000, but you had no idea because you haven't performed any research online regarding that specific model of car, you would just take my word for that because sometimes people buy from those that they like or they trust, and it's a big thing. Trust is a big thing. So when you sign up with someone, there's a level of trust there. So number one thing is, in order to find a cost-effective marketing strategy for your business, you really need to do your research. You need to understand what it is what digital marketing entails. There's a lot of different things we haven't talked about. There's target marketing, there's market segmentation, there's audience-based marketing. I mean, I can just sit here all day and throw terms at you, and you would think that's great. I'm going to sign up for that and I want it now. But those things will cost you a lot in the long run if you don't do your research ahead of time. So that's the number one thing. In order to help you find a cost-effective marketing strategy, you need to do your research first.
So remember, I told you there was a trick question in an earlier question, but you and I talked about this the other day, that you've helped businesses that thought they were doing the right thing and they were spending a lot of money and not getting any results. And you were actually able to help them get far better results for much less cost, for a fraction of what they were paying. Is that right?
That is correct. Over the last year, I have worked with probably over 200 different clients, and 75% of those clients walk through my door with the same problem. They've been stuck in these contracts that cost a lot. I mean, some of them were paying $1,500 a month for a static website because they thought that that's how they would be shown on the front page of Google. They thought that they were ranking number one. They didn't even understand how to go to Google and check the data. They had no set of they didn't have any metrics to look at. They were just paying a bill every month, and it was an expense because it wasn't doing anything for them. And it was an awful contract they were stuck in. They had to give 60-day notice before that contract ended, and they were unaware of it. So some of them ended up in another year's worth of just wasted marketing dollars. So I think that's a very common thing. And again, I believe that goes back to lack of research, lack of understanding. And it's of no fault of their own. They're not experts in this field. It's not what they do. It's similar to an accountant, to an attorney. Everybody has their specialty, and you just really have to find that person that you trust, that you can work with. But in the end, you really need to look at the results and demand results. Look at those numbers and identify your return on your investment.
So I want to move on to number two, because I can already tell we're going to have to talk again. I'm going to have you back because we're going to run out of time. But I want to talk about the second thing on the list, and that was learning the main differences between paid listings, map listings, and organic listings. I'm assuming this has to do with Google.
Correct. The paid listings is the Google ads that we talked about earlier. It is a cost per click program. And if you go to google.com and you were to search again, local attorneys in Asheville, you will see at the top of the page, there are about 3 to 4 ads, and you scroll all the way down and there's another set of 3 to 4 ads. Now, Google has made it very easy for us now to identify those ads. There's a little box. I think it's green. It says ads. and it will notify you that you are about to click on an ad. We are seeing there are more people willing to click on the ads because they're learning more about them. They're not spam. People invest heavily to get those positions. So it's different than it was, say, 5 years ago, when people would just randomly show ads anywhere and everywhere just to get the traffic. Google doesn't allow that. There's quality score, and there's a lot of things that go into it. And we'll get into that in another conversation. But basically, Google monitors what goes into those slots. And it's very difficult with the Google ads to get in the first and second position. And that's why you really need a professional to work with. So that is your paid campaigns. If you were to scroll down just a little ways from the first 3 or 4 ads, you'll see Google Maps. The Google Maps is huge, huge, huge for local small business. I cannot say that enough. If you are not on the Google Maps and you are targeting a local area, you are losing out big time. Those maps work really well with Siri and our phones when we're using our GPS systems. A lot of people use those to find your phone number, directions. You can put daily posts out and photos and updates. Google's come really far with the Google Maps. So the Google Map listing is free and it doesn't cost anything. So that's something that business owners can do today, is get listed on the Google My Business listing. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you can update that weekly, and you can learn how to use the program just by doing a little bit of research. The last thing is organic searches or organic listings. So if you scroll down past the Google Maps, you will see URLs with titles and descriptions, and you'll see all kinds of different websites. This is what we call the trusted area. So this is about where 60% of us go when we're doing some research online, unless it's retail, and we'll get into that another time. But basically, let's say you're looking for a carpet cleaning company and you've scrolled past the ads because you're one of those people that say, I don't trust that yet. You go past the maps and you just start looking in the organic section. And those titles and descriptions that are most appealing to you will lead you to that person's website. And there you have it. That's your organic listing. So you have those 3 things. You have your paid listing, which is your Google ads. You have your Google Maps, and then you have the organic section. And the organic section is where we tie in the search engine optimization, SEO, which is another topic for another day. So as you can see with digital marketing, there's so much to it. It's so involved. And I just picked on social media management early on because it's the easiest to talk about.
Well, listen, I saw a really interesting statistic the other day, and I don't know if this has just been measured since the beginning of the COVID pandemic, but it said that as much as 75% of all local purchases begin online. Correct. And I am a huge, huge fan of the maps because
yes, I
can send that straight to my phone. I can send it straight to my car. If I'm looking for something, if I need a small business, so local businesses, have got to get on board, especially with the map listings. But all of these are super important. Let's move on to number 3. That's become instantly credible and trustworthy to website visitors. How do I do that? Do I just put up a website that doesn't look like my 13-year-old neighbor made it?
Well, one of the things you can do is stop putting static reviews on your website. When I see that, and everyone thinks when they see that, you could have put that on there. So one of the things I have my clients do is to integrate the Google reviews, the Facebook reviews, the Bing reviews, Yelp reviews, and integrate it as a live review system right into the website. So that immediately says, hey, I can see that these are reviews that true customers have left. And I think that is one of the biggest things you can do for yourself. The other thing is your website does not need to be outdated. If your website doesn't work on mobile, you're in trouble. People will not spend the time to go through your data on a device that they're just simply not going to waste the time to do that. So you need to be mobile friendly. You need to have your Google reviews integrated. And the next thing is your content needs to be updated. Get rid of the copyright of 2004. Go through and correct spelling errors, grammar errors, put up some new and fresh content, right? Your business cannot possibly be the same from 8 years ago. I know that mine is not. I had to go through and revamp my own website. It is one of the hardest things to do, to work on your own things. But that's why you can hire a company like mine, and I'll work on yours, and maybe I'll let someone work on mine. But it is hard. I understand. I am a small business owner. I'm right there with you. But when people come to your website, it needs to have fresh content. And one of the biggest things we're seeing a trend in is moving toward content marketing. So keyword stuffing and, key phrase stuffing is just dead. That is not SEO. So that's
I'm going to stop you there, because we're going to talk about that in just a second, because those are some mistakes that I think a lot of people who are trying to do content marketing make. I am guilty. Yes. I have done that, and you can often see where a robot or a program has written a blog post or a news story because it says you should visit this pet shop. It is the best pet shop in the entire town of Waynesville, or in the entire world of all pet shops. It is the best pet shop of all pet shops that have ever been a pet shop. And you're like, what? Come on, let's go to optimizing. Now we're a big fan of the Google Maps.
Yes.
But there's something that we need to do, and that's Google Maps optimization.
Yes.
What's that all about?
So I said that, the Google Maps were free. They are. If you can do your research and learn how to optimize your Google Maps, it'll save you a lot of time and money. But there are some other techniques out there to get you in what we call the pack 3. So you want to show up in the first, second, or third position. And maybe you have your business in Waynesville, but you want to show up in Silva and Cherokee and surrounding areas. It's getting harder for that to happen. So Google Ads is one way of making it happen, where they will show your ads in the Google Maps listings if that's set up correctly. So that's part of that optimization. And the other piece is to geo-target your images. So when you take an image with your camera, it tags it with metadata, probably things that you're very unaware of. But with just a little bit of research, use your YouTube and Google how to geo-tag a photo. You'll be amazed what you'll find out. But if you can go through and optimize your images to where they are named correctly, they have meta tags, they have 5-star ratings, get those posted. Then the next step would be to bring valuable content to your Google Maps. You can go and create posts every day. You can put photos out, but the posts are really intriguing to me because they actually are minty little websites out there speaking for you in the search engine. So you can go and do a daily post that might include a blog post that you've written about. So again, we talked about fresh content on your website. That's called content marketing. And a piece of that is with blogs, blog posts, and writing about topics that people care about. And when you get those blog posts written, you can then post them to your Google Maps and bring traffic into your website with that direction as well. And if you go to Google and you look under images, you'll see all these different photos. And so if you're searching for a topic, let's say you're looking for a picture of a red car, and blue cars and purple are showing up, that's because those images were not optimized. And it does no one any good to have all these random photos underneath the images on a search term that I'm looking for specifically. So if I want images of red cars, I want Google to show red cars. So Google has cleaned up the image search drastically. And so now we actually get red cars when we search for red cars under images. And the way that happens is by tagging your photos, inserting meta tags, and there's some techniques that you can do to help you rank better in the Google business listing.
So you mentioned fresh content, and part of that is photos. And it's amazing that we sometimes forget about photos. We think about content as I've got to sit down and write something. I think content is one of those areas that really scares people. Yeah. They think, oh, I've got to write an article every day. I've got to write a 300-word blog post every day or every week, and I just don't have time for that. I don't know what to do. Give us some examples other than photos. What is some fresh, relevant content that we could be using?
So I think it's very important that you use your blogging platform to speak to the integrity of your business, but also to really shed light on your authoritativeness in that industry. So, for example, if you are an attorney, and I'm picking on attorneys because they're just it's a great example of all the different things we talked about today. But if you're an attorney and someone needs to know how to deal with a traffic ticket, and they're not even sure if they even need to call you. And, today, a lot of people don't even want to call. They want to text or send messages. So on your website, you could actually lead someone into wanting to do business with you if you give them enough information about what about their question. And so then they're going to be like, oh, this is more involved than I thought, and I really need an attorney. So I think I'm going to call this guy because I know that he knows what he's talking about. And it's the same thing with products. When you get ready to purchase something, we all search 15 websites probably for just one item we're looking to purchase. And we go and we look at reviews. And so that's something we haven't mentioned yet, but reviews are heavily weighed in the search engine. But more importantly, they're heavily weighed in the consumer's mind. So you can use some of your blog posts and that fresh content to really shed light on who you are, what you do, but really drill down deep into topics. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to share your knowledge, because in sharing your knowledge, that's really what attracts people to you, because they see you as the authoritative one, you're trustworthy, and you're relevant. And that's exactly what Google is looking for as well.
So when you elevate yourself to expert status, people start to seek you out.
They absolutely do.
Pull versus push. And I think that's one of the things that we'll just have to jump into the next time we get together, because I feel like I've been carpet bombed with information.
Everyone says that, Russ. They're just like, I'm tired now. I need a coffee or a beer.
I'm not tired. I'm energized. We could go all day. But I think we're going to have to pick this up at a different time and maybe do a part 2, maybe even a part 3, because this is stuff that, especially for local businesses, they think, well, I've got a great location. I've got a lot of traffic. People will walk by, people will drive by, they'll see me. And it's just not enough. As I think you've pointed out today, we've got to do something to start magnetizing those customers, bring them into us, bring them into our gravitational field, so to speak. So, I want to thank you for joining us today. That's all the time that we've got today. We're going to jump off. If you have issues with social media marketing, Google marketing, putting yourself on the map, even issues with your website, when you want to put yourself out there, contact WNC Social Media Buzz. Laura Lee and her team are going to be glad to talk with you. They're so friendly. They're extremely helpful. And I know she's thrown a lot of terms at us today, but she really does make this very digestible and easy, as is evidenced by some of the clients that she's working with, people who are not techies at all, who are doing extremely well in digital marketing.
Yes.
And so contact her. And Laura Lee, I look forward to having you back again real soon.
Thank you for having me.
We're definitely going to have to do this again. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. And look forward to seeing you again next week on Live with Sequoyah Fund.